Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media.
Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes us to northeastern Pennsylvania, near a little town called Thorpe. An interesting aside is that this area used to be named Mock Chunk, with a nearby lake still bearing that name. In the Muncie Lenape Native American tribe language, it meant Bear Place, a fitting name given the events that occurred there on Sunday, January 19th, 2025. The Pocono Mountains cover 2,500 square miles of primitive and remote forests, consisting of temperate rainforests, receiving over 55 inches of rainfall yearly, with low temperatures ranging between 39 and 55 degrees Fahrenheit. This rather warm, plush area hosts a broad range of flora, including eastern hemlock, red maple, white oak, and American beech trees, providing a shady canopy. The understory is a thick and tangled composite of mountain laurel and rhododendron bushes. Fruit and berry bushes in the area include black cherry tree, blueberry, elderberry, and blackberry bushes, providing sweet and nutritious treats from spring to mid-fall. Dense patches of ferns share the ground level with moss and wildflowers. As you can imagine, this temperate rainforest is home to a diverse population of wildlife. White-tailed deer, elk, and wild turkeys roam the forests, stalked by bobcats, coyotes, and black bears. Black bears in Pennsylvania are known for their size and numbers. The bears here can grow up to 600 pounds, growing large on the abundant berries, nuts, and fungi provided by the forests. In the morning hours of Sunday, January 19th, 2025, Andrew Neirer was navigating the trail system near his housing development on the south edge of town. He was working his way toward the market nearby to pick up some supplies. In prior days, an Arctic blast had sent temperatures plunging, and several inches of snow had accumulated. The area's black bears had already beat a hasty retreat to dens dug into hillsides to wait out the winter, except the most desperate bears. As Andrew slipped and crunched his way along the trail, the form of a large black bear materialized several yards ahead of him. It wasn't very common to see bears out at this time of year, though several had been spotted recently around the town. Earlier in the morning, this same sow had been scrounging for scraps at the dumpster near the market. Employees at the market knew her visits were harmful to her, as she was getting food of poor quality and dangerous due to her being too close to visitors. Customers at the market may not be aware of her presence and expose themselves to the dangers of a hungry bear. After market employees ran the sow away, she made her way up the trail system toward the housing development where Andrew ran into her. As he approached her, Andrew could see she was sitting right in the middle of the trail he wanted to use, and she wasn't in a hurry to move. Andrew wasn't about to get pushy with a bear that should have been hibernating. He turned around and slowly made his way back up the trail. Glancing back, he could see the sow rise to her feet and slowly follow him up the trail. Now, Andrew's neighbor, whom we'll refer to as Charles, had just seen him walk by on the trail near his house. Charles watched as Andrew nervously made his way back to Charles' home, with the big bear stalking him from only a few yards away. Charles dashed outside to meet Andrew, where the trail and his driveway converged. He watched as Andrew climbed a short hill, and both men watched as the sow continued toward them. As Andrew peered down the trail, he hoped that the sow would turn back and not follow him out of the brush. Walking cautiously away from the bear, as she followed him, he likely hoped she'd suddenly realize he was a human and far from her normal food. With the sow closing in on him and trailing him from only 2 yards, Andrew briskly walked in a small circle, possibly trying to shake the bear without breaking into a run. Before this point, he had done his best not to panic and run, but the sow continued to close in on him. Now Charles had stepped off to the side toward his house as the sow emerged from the brush. Watching the sow close in on Andrew, he knew he couldn't allow this bear to injure his neighbor. The sow leaped forward, bit onto Andrew's coat, and pulled him toward her by digging in her claws. Andrew spun and pushed the bear back, fending off her jaws, as Charles stepped in to intervene. Before dashing out the door, Charles had grabbed a pistol he'd used for home defense and was now going to use it in defense of Andrew's life. Charles jogged up to the bear as she bit and clawed Andrew. She had taken Andrew down only a few seconds before Charles fired a very close-range shot into the side of her head. The slough slumped over in the grim repose of a very quick and humane death. Charles' security camera, fortunately, caught the entire attack from the perch of a pole near the front of his house. This footage could not be included in this video as it would not pass YouTube guidelines, so I posted it on our Patreon link below. It does show a bear attack in progress, as well as the sow's sad ending, so watch it at your own risk. Andrew's injuries were very minor due to Charles' quick reactions. He was taken to the local hospital and received a single stitch to close a small gash on his arm. He had a few other scratches, but they weren't deep enough to warrant stitches. He was treated and released the same day. As for the bear, she was killed by a bullet to her head. Sources indicated she was anywhere between 100 and 200 pounds, but judging by the video, I would guess her weight at somewhere around 150 pounds. She looks thin on the video and was exhibiting very aggressive behavior, indicative of a starving bear. Attacking Andrew could only be viewed as a predatory act on her part, as she was not defending cubs. Speaking of cubs, our Cub Tier membership on Patreon, linked below, will give you ad-free early access to our episodes, and the $3 per month goes a long way in helping me continue to produce educational and entertaining content like this. The bear's carcass will be analyzed so wildlife officers can learn from her condition and behavior. They planned on determining if she had rabies, but she didn't seem to behave rabidly. Charles' security camera footage was enough for investigators to release the young men of any wrongdoing, given they acted in self-defense and gave the sow every chance to leave. Andrew's bear attack was the first one of 2025 that I've found. Black bear populations in Pennsylvania are a conservation success story, with numbers growing from around 4,000 bears in the 1970s to around 20,000 bears today. The bear attack on Andrew Neirer serves as a stark reminder of the potential dangers when humans and wildlife intersect. While such incidents are rare, they underscore the importance of awareness and preparedness when venturing into bear habitats. The swift actions of Neirer's neighbors highlight the critical role of community vigilance in ensuring safety in shared environments. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I'm left with a few questions for you. Would you expect to run into a bear in January? Would bear spray have prevented this attack and the sow's subsequent death? Why is there no community government involved to alert the public to the presence of bears? I will gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it.
Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.